Hello everybody. In 2010, February 2010, I was 39. I know that's hard to believe, but I was. So you do the maths. I was a 70-mile-a-week fell runner. I'd do anything to get away from the husband and kids. But just 24 hours after a run round Chatsworth Gardens, this happened.
Kate Allatt from Dore in South Yorkshire had a severe brainstem stroke and then went on to develop locked-in syndrome. Doctors said she'd never walk or talk again, but the mother of three defied their predictions.
Now, this is the sciencey bit. Now, you're all quite bright. I'm just a marketeer, but I had a right vertebral artery dissection, occlusion, and infarction of the pons. So the clinicians amongst you will probably understand that's quite serious. And actually, on this graph here, you can see the blob right in the middle with the white cursor over it. That's my brain now. I had some research done on me in UCL, and that was my brain 2 years after, so that's what it looks like now. So my brain is rewired. Now, what I want to share with you, what was that like? Well, frankly, it was like being buried alive. Now, could you imagine thinking, feeling, seeing, hearing, assuming your head's pointed in the right direction, but not being able to move a single muscle? Can you imagine? So effectively, if someone touched you on the hand or the finger or anywhere in the body, the message went up to the brain, but the brain couldn't tell the hand to move. And for 2 weeks, I was considered vegetative, but I wasn't. I was fully aware of everything that was going on around me. I was unconscious, so I was aware of myself and my environment. Now, I'm going to play something for you now, which, to give you a real idea, I mean, we talk about patients. Look, let's just strip that back. Patients are humans. I thought and I felt and I was very, very scared. And this is the sort of thing I was thinking in ICU, not only on a hourly, minute-by-minute basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. I was there for 9 weeks. I was in rehab for further 8 months. But I just want to give you an idea of what I was thinking and feeling.
It's me, please pick up the board, please. Can't you see I want to communicate? Look into my eyes, please just look into my eyes. I'm so scared, I don't sleep, I can't sleep at night. Ow! My bloody leg cramp, please stop. No one knows about it. Just great. Can the indignity get any worse? Now, I told my mum I've started my monthlies. I need to hug my kids. Where are they? This separation is breaking my heart. Is Woody going to piano? I bet India's skin's in a right mess. Damn! I've shut myself. Oh no, why in front of Rob while he's visiting? Judging by the look on his face, it's just so bad. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Please treat me like you want to be treated yourself. I'm still me inside. Good fun, Kate. Oh my God, that poor man next to me has just died. I've never seen a dead body before. I'm so frightened. What if the nurses are trying to kill me with that graphite drip? I've seen the films. Maybe they think I'm not worth keeping. Please look into my eyes. I need help. I'm so scared. My heart is jumping out of my chest.
Now, week 8, all I had was a bit of blinking, a slight head movement, and this right thumb moved 3 millimetres. That's it. That was all I had. I left ICU after 9 weeks. I went to rehab. 16 weeks after my brainstem stroke, i.e. just 6 weeks after I arrived there, I had a review. In that, I was written off. I was going to go to a nursing home. I wasn't going to improve significantly, even though I felt movements you couldn't see with your naked eye. On top of that, my family decided to go on holiday on my 40th. I didn't climb Kilimanjaro via the Western Breach, which what I'd paid for, never got a bloody refund. Can you believe it? So I had all these events up in May 2010. I was pretty chipped off, being polite. Anyway, that was the moment I decided to stop giving up on life, actually to prove everybody wrong. That's my chip on my shoulder. I've always had it, I'm afraid, but it stood me in good stead. So from that moment on, I'd sat in bed and I'd look at every part of my body and I'd think to my mind, move, damn you, just bloody move. And I'd be telling myself in my mind and staring. I'd give you an example. My left side didn't move for 5 months. And I'd look, while Jeremy Kyle was on, I'd look at my big right toe after therapy had finished for the day, and I'd been thinking, come on, move, damn you. 3 weeks later, I never stopped. 450 times on average a week I was doing this. I've read the Teasel stuff since, and you know, repetitively, frequently, intensively. I called it, in my first book, which is internationally popular, I've got 5 copies, Willing. It's in there, it's Willing. I started writing that the day I left hospital, that's a different story. Anyway, 3 weeks after I started willing my body, I got the tiniest movement in my big left toe. And do you know all I could think about? I'm a marketeer, I'm not a medic. I just want to be home with my kids and I want to hug them and I want to be a normal mum. And I thought, if I can make that left toe move, that being the farthest from my brain, then game on from the whole left side. That's all I thought. I didn't know anything else. Didn't know about neuroplasticity. Didn't know about anything. For me, it was just, I had the belief I could make that happen. Now, there's no reason why nothing else could happen. I was simple. So, I had some goals. What goals did I have? I wanted to go upstairs to bed. I didn't want to have a room downstairs. I wanted to hug my kids. I wanted to eat again. I wanted to drink again. 6 months in little by mouth, horrific. I wanted to run again. I wanted to walk out of hospital, which the nurses laughed at, by the way. So I had some big goals. I wanted to get rid of my peg feed and everything else. So the goal setting was a huge thing. You all know that. We all know that. It's important with patients. But do we really set goals based on what patients want? Question. You know, do we really do enough to understand what can help motivate patients to try and improve, whether it's to walk their grandchildren down the path at school or knit a jumper or whatever it is for them. Mine was running. Do we do enough to understand goals and motivations for patients? Now, if I was an equal patient partner working for the NHS leadership, which I'd like to, by the way, always looking for work. I'll tell you what I want to impart with you now is the knowledge I've accrued over the last 7 years, my own recovery and the last, I think, 700 and so global people affected by Allatt syndrome. I've voluntarily been an advocate for the last 7 years because I feel so strongly about it. We're all written off, that's the commonality. And some of us don't improve very much. Some of us do improve, but there's so much in between as well. It's just amazing. Now, take this guy here. Let me come on to him in a minute, actually. The first thing I want to say is if I was a real patient partner, is I'd research the system barriers and the solutions to patient motivation. I've talked about patient motivation. I had it in droves. I've got it in droves. Not everybody does. What do we need to do to better understand that? Because my feeling is we throw a lot, and I've seen it, we throw a lot of rehab interventions at patients, all stroke survivors, not just the rare one I had, and, you know, the patient's demotivated. Why are they demotivated? They're on a ridiculous number of drugs, which are all contravening to making them very apathetic. Have they got neurological fatigue? Have they got no support structures? What are the reasons? If we don't treat the reason behind their motivation, we might as well just throw away our money, all this therapy time and all this costs and everything else. So I'd like to see some research into the barriers and the solutions to improve the systems to identify factors for patient motivation. I'd also like to, dead simple this, but I'm simple, I'd change the language that we use in hospitals and in the community. Why? Because let's take this guy. Funnily enough, I've just come back from New York, lucky me. But I went on a patient visit to see this guy here called Rob. 39, had a brainstem stroke 7 weeks ago, locked in. I spent 3 hours for 4 days running by his bedside, talking to him, meeting his family, meeting his friends, like I do in all my patient visits. And do you know what? I didn't say to him, you'll be running again, you'll be eating again, you'll be doing it, you'll be fine, don't worry about it. No. I don't promise anything. I say, listen, there are no promises, but there are possibilities. You might improve significantly very quickly, or you might not. You'll improve slowly over the years. No one knows. I don't have a crystal ball. Doctors don't have a crystal ball. But the repetitive, frequent, intensive, the support and the fact that you're driven will help you improve. I never use the word recovery. It's all about improvement. And that's important because if patients think they're going to be recovered, whether they've had a heart attack, cancer or whatever else, after a life-altering event, that's wrong. I'll never be the same as I was. They need to know it's going to be a new normal, and they've got to be the best version they can of themselves, and that's it really. But this guy here, I spent 3 hours on a Friday night in New York, just got off the plane, and do you know what, they sent me a text just as I got back to my hotel in Manhattan, and they said, Rob's just moved his fingers and thumb and foot, and there you have the evidence there. You know, if you inject some self-belief, some positivity, and we don't quash hope, we don't promise things that we can't promise, no one has a crystal ball, then that self-belief factor is so important. I wrote a blog for the Huffington Post. I've just written one for The Guardian today, actually. I'm really pleased that you might want to check out. But this one I wrote, I never thought if I ran again, if I hugged my kids again, if I went home, if I ate again. I always thought when I got motivated, when. That was it, when. And we talk about growth mindset. I personified it then. But I think it's very important to change the way we talk about illnesses. I really, really do. And it's about people being the best versions of themselves. Now, this girl here, Claudia, I went to Poland. Now, you probably think I have a really nice, glamorous life. I don't, but she's 24, had a brainstem stroke. Do you know, by the time I went back from Poland to Sheffield, 10 hours, her boyfriend sent me a WhatsApp. When I was by her bedside, she did that with her hand. Within 10 hours, no therapy, just belief. She did this. That's the belief effect. Now, let's talk about language. This girl here, Steph King, she wasn't abroad, she's from the UK. She had a brainstem stroke. Her doctor said to her when she left rehab, you'll plateau in 2 years. She was a very, very, very good equestrian rider. She rang me up when I had my charity 2 months before her 2-year point and said, devastated, absolutely in tears. She was nowhere near going back on a horse, nowhere near doing anything. She'd taken that word literally, which I think, and you'll probably bear this out, to be a cost term. It's nothing to do with potential to improve. It's just how people are described. Anyway, the effect of that one word on her life, it broke her, absolutely broke her. And it's dangerous. Take this girl here. She's my heroine, Christine Waddell. She's my age, had a brainstem stroke at 20 years ago. She's severely ill at the moment, and my heart goes out to her. But I have to tell you, back in 2012, January, she Skyped me with her carer. She was in a wheelchair with a headrest. I made a cheeky phone call to Neural Pathways and I said, she'll be a guinea pig. Just think of the kudos if you did something with her. She'd not eaten for 19 years, 17 years at that point. 2 years on, they said yes, loads and loads of work later. That picture came through 18 months ago. Her first meal in 19 years. The belief she got from that Skype conversation, she's sitting on a plinth now, standing up. As I say, she's very, very poorly at the moment with sepsis, suddenly, but she's phenomenal. She's a force to be reckoned of. And it's not the word recovery, it's best version of you. I don't think we should strive for perfection or recovery, it's just progress. And I think growth mindset is something we should apply in motivational patient interviews and so on. And I guess what I'm saying to you is I think patient motivation is a very small problem within all these problems of the NHS. But, you know, if you take Sir Dave Brailsford from GB Cycling, talks about marginal gains. If we tweaked everything and improved everything, what will the end result be? I think it'd be very good, actually. I also think that social media, this is a screenshot of my Facebook memory back in 2010. Can you believe in hospital I was writing this? I don't think failure is an option. I don't think about thinking, why me? I wrote this on the 25th of August when I was still in hospital. I'd rather use the power of the brain positively. I can't quite believe I wrote this, but the reason I put this up is to say to you, are we using social media enough? From peer mentoring to encouraging patients' motivations with walls of encouragement, to even following up GP appointments on, so they don't have to have other appointments. It's the way we can hang out where patients are to make sure they're complying to their treatment plans or their rehabilitation plans. I did my TEDx talk on the power of communication, and communication is a basic human right. And there's some new technology now that allows patients who are unresponsive, who might be able to hear and think, we know 40% are potentially misdiagnosed as vegetative anyway. And this allows you, without any activation from a nurse or anything, to have this technology between the patient and their remote visitors, carers, that give them stimulation and communication. I think communication is so important, and I'm sure my friend here, Catty, would bear that out. But coming on to Catty, Catty is Finnish and she's got long-term locked-in syndrome, and we met a few years ago, and I put her in because I admire her as much as I do Christine. She's the happiest woman with her husband Henning that I've ever met in my life, and she can't do very much. She's the most inspiring woman there is, and just to say that even if you can't do anything, to have the quality of life and the level of happiness, it's truly humbling. So, going back to my goals, I did walk upstairs. I did walk out of hospital, as you can see there, with a big smile on my face, and the YouTube video is out there if you want to go and see it, but just look at my channel. And the most important thing I want to share with you, my belief to be home, hugging my kids, telling them I love them, to go and do after-school activities, to be a normal mum, got me everywhere. And you know, just 21 months after my brainstem stroke, where I was told, my husband was told I'd never walk, talk or do anything again, and go in a nursing home to live, this happened. And I'm very, very proud of it.